Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is MLPDota, joined by johnxfire. We are here for our final series of the night between Team Aster and Newbee. John, if I may, I just have to address the viewers quickly. I realize the title of the stream is completely incorrect and it's an old title.
It's just fixed now, Mike.
Oh, it got fixed.
Yeah, just now.
Oh, I was expecting it to be a lot longer than that. Anyway, moving on then. John, draft started. How the hell are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, Mike. I have to admit, it's starting to get a bit late. Not for me, but for you, for sure. And, well, those were quite the series we watched. The last one, definitely a bit of a back and forth. Very interesting indeed. Very odd picks coming out. That Spectre in the last game, of course. It was a weird callback, but we managed to see that hero finally pop out in DPL Season 6 to very little effect, sadly enough. I am looking forward to this series coming out. Of course, Aster versus Newbee. It is pretty important for both of them. Again, for the groups, for the most part, most of the games, most of the teams have only played 2 series so far. The only one that played more in this group is VG, who have played 1 3 series. And this is pretty pivotal. Aster is right up there right now in the upper half with 1 win and 1 loss. I believe, no, 1 win, 1 loss, if I recall right. Let me just check real quick on you. Yeah, 1 win, 1 loss for Aster so far. And Newbee, 1 loss so far. So this is going to be really important for Newbee to win, to secure a good start going into that second half of the group stages, which will occur after a short break, apparently. But it's really important for Newbee, of course, doubly important for Aster to secure their spot in the upper half. And the draft is pretty much underway, as you mentioned, Mike. Rubik and Razor for Team Aster, Shadow Shaman and Sand King for Newbee. Nothing too wild, I have to say. Very open drafts from both teams.
Yeah. We've been seeing the meta slightly coming together now, and I mean, this is basically what you're seeing, and this does seem reminiscent of a meta that we may have seen maybe a year ago, I want to say, like with these opening picks. I don't think, I mean, of course, the carries that we're seeing aren't so much, but nevertheless, let's see what they draft out. 5th ban for Newbee now, and we'll get to see what's coming next. Of course, we did see Newbee yesterday up against LGD. Unfortunately, though, they got demolished by LGD. Team Aster, I don't want to say should be an easier team to go up against, but that's probably the only way I can say it, while being honest.
It's fair enough of a point. I mean, Aster is... they're doing okay in the group so far, but they've only played 2 series so far as well. So, it remains to really be seen as to how they'll perform here in DPL. Newbee does pick up that Nature's Prophet. Believe this is the 2nd time we're seeing the hero. And should be interesting. A bit of a flex pick as well. That does open up the possibility of Sand King being a support, or Nature's Prophet being the roaming support. So, interesting pickup from Newbee, and throws a bit of a misdirection play to Team Aster in regards of that draft, Mike.
Certainly so. It's not a hero you see very often. In this new patch, it wasn't really touched too much either. We'll see what they can get done. I mean, it's still powerful in the sense that you can teleport anywhere on the map. But apart from that, we'll see what the plan is. Of course, Team Aster, 50 seconds of reserve time left for them. What will be the route that they go with this draft? Oh, here we go again. I like this. The Spirit Breaker comes out, John. I think this is nice. It worked the first time we saw it. I think it could work. In fact, I say worked. They did end up losing the game, if I'm correct. But it did look pretty powerful.
It does look pretty strong, Mike. I do like this pickup up against a Nature's Prophet. You're going to be able to respond no matter where NP goes. It's pretty good. Changes to how his charge works, and his toggleable aura is pretty interesting as well. I do want to point out, like, with Nature's Prophet, right, with his global TP talent, and the fact that there is a separate slot just for TPs, and the fact that it doesn't share cooldown with TP boots, NP can jump around in a lot of different spots, Mike,
Yeah. We've
in
got
very
two of
quick
these heroes.
succession.
We've got two of these
Yeah,
heroes, though, don't we, that are pretty global. I mean, of course, Nature's Prophet is a lot more global in the sense that it's immediate, but it's going to be one of those games you've really got to keep an eye out as to where these two heroes go. Position 4 Nature's Prophet. Some argue that it's a cardinal sin. Others would say it's pretty good. It seems to be like a 50-50 kind of thing. Like you see it win one day and then the next day it just doesn't really show up.
it really depends on how aggressive and how much you can get done early, I think. Because otherwise, the Nature's Prophet support just, if it doesn't find that space early on, it kind of tapers off. I'm not sure if you really want to prioritize the farm on Nature's Prophet, who's supposed to be position 4, as usually, of course, the other cores will want that farm. So it's entirely up to the early game of Newbee here to really maximize the support pickup. Um, it's definitely a bit greedier compared to Team Aster's start. Of course, Spirit Breaker can go along without too much farm. Rubik as well doesn't need too much to get going. We've seen a lot of big Rubik plays with very minimal items inside. Newbie, the Nature's Prophet again. He wants some XP. He definitely wants some farm support. Shadow Shaman wants some XP. Sand King as well. So it's a bit greedy coming out from Newbie, but nothing worrying yet. Nothing that tells me that, oh, okay, this is not going to work. It's still workable, but they have to get a good start.
Well, Newbie, 10 seconds left for them on that reserve time. They've got to make a decision very, very soon. We just saw this hero. The Venomancer does pop out, and it was quite successful in the last game. So I don't mind seeing this. There's just a lot of team fight coming out from Newbie, it seems.
Yeah, definitely so. The push capability as well is quite good. Venomancer pushes quite well, Nature's Prophet as well, and Shadow Shaman with his wards. And Melt Tower's quite fast, so Newbie is looking set to really clear the map out from Team Master. But we'll see what Team Master responds. But I think none of these targets are really squishy enough for you to really burst down as the Venomancer, except for the Rubik. Spirit Breaker's otherwise really tanky, Razor as well. So it should. I'm curious as to what Aster cleans up with. I'm starting to think that this Razor pickup really isn't going to be, slowing down any sort of right-click core for Newbie. It doesn't look like they're going for any sort of right-click core. The Nature's I mean, you can still do a lot of work, but you won't be slowing down Newbie's damage, as they seem to really be emphasizing that magic damage. And Aster picks up a hero you really love, Mike. The Enigma comes out.
I do like Enigma. I think nobody really likes, nobody really dislikes seeing Enigma, I feel, right? It's always that hero that can just change everything. But I don't know how I feel about it in this draft. Like, I guess there's no real direct counters towards it. The Burrow Strike, not the best way of cancelling Black Hole. Neither is the Shadow Shaman, but you have the Hex and the Shackle. It's a lot better. In terms of lane ability, John, we've seen how much this hero can do. It just denies creeps over and over again. The thing I dislike about it in this patch, though, in the last patch, you got XP out of denying those creeps, which seemed to be more valuable for the Enigma over gold. But now you get that gold instead. Doesn't really seem as good.
Yeah, it's a big trade-off for heroes like Enigma, of course. You don't hit your 6 fast enough, although at least you get some gold for early items, which are pretty important in this patch. But again, his dominance really came from having a significant XP advantage. And you still keep that advantage in the sense that the enemy hero won't have that XP, but you're not gaining too much yourself. Aster cleans up their draft with the Dragonite for themselves, and that does tie the draft up fairly well. All of these heroes fairly tanky. I don't think the Dragonite really cares for Venomancer either as the game goes on. The BKB will be coming out as well at some point to mitigate that damage. And I don't quite see the burst coming out for Newbie yet to really take care of these really tanky heroes on Aster's side. They're gonna need something that cancels that black hole. What I'm really not sure what's left for them to take. They take the Monkey King. That's a fair enough choice, as long as Monkey King doesn't get caught in that black hole. Of course, once the BKBs come out, it's gonna be very hard to cancel it, Mike.
That's the thing. Mind you, that is a black hole. Like it's a long cooldown. We've seen it before where teams do struggle to play around it. If Aster can do it, I mean, with their draft right now, John, they're so tanky. It's just going to be hard to take them down these team fights, assuming they go for the usual, braces that we've been seeing over and over again. These braces and wraith bands and things like that. You're going to have a tanky Fenrir on the Spirit Breaker charging at you. The DK probably going to get a blink or a Shadow Blade. Even the Razor as well, generally pretty tanky. And overall, I mean, the only thing it seems that they've got to really deal with all these tanky heroes is the Monkey King. And even then, if you burst Moogie down, like, how much is left?
It's a rather odd draft from Newbee coming out again. It's got these heroes that we've seen pop in and out, but never together like this. And I have to say, overall, in terms of draft, I do enjoy Aster's draft just a bit more. Sure, Newbee's lineup can push quite fast. I mean, they have the Shadow Shaman, NP, Venomancer. I just feel like outside of push, Aster's looks much better. They can take these team fights quite well. They can push as well with the Enigma and the Dragon Knight. So it's not like Aster lacks that push, but they have much better team fight potential. Of course, Newbee does have that Sand King, which brings a lot in the team fight, but Aster has that Rubik Mine.
They certainly do. You got to be very concerned about that. That Burrow Strike is just so much value for the Rubik. Not to mention the Hex from the Shadow Shaman and the Serpent Wards. But let's see what Newbee can do. Again, they didn't have the greatest showing yesterday. We'll see how they do today. And Aster definitely looking to try and see if they can 2-0 Newbee this game around. Get a nice little standing in the groups for themselves. It does look like they're going to put the Sand King up against that Razor. I guess it's not bad overall. Like, you are going to still be able to sit in that Sandstorm and just get those CS pretty safely. But at the same time, if they invest in some early detection for Sylar, I mean, he'll probably be able to abuse that Sand King pretty badly.
Oh, he definitely will. Just static blink and take all the damage. We've seen Razors get really good starts up against Sand Kings. I think we've seen it once before, and Razor can do quite a fair bit. So you will have to watch out. It's the Sand King. You are very tanky, but a Razor will steal all your damage. You're going to be relying on your Sandstorm for most of your creep farming in that case. Maybe some procs of Caustic Finale as well. But you will be giving the Razor quite a fair bit. A melee against Razor is always favorable for Razor first.
Yeah, not to mention, like, his support that he's going to have with him is Faith on that Nature's Prophet. It's just, it's not the best support in the world. Not in terms of laning stage, I feel, but let's see what happens. It looks like Fenrir probably going to make his way down to the bot lane as well to join the Razor. So you could make the same argument that perhaps Fenrir on that Spirit Breaker also not going to be the best, support to have in the laning stage, but I still feel like it's better than having a Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you in that. It's probably going to have a bit more impact, although I am a bit worried about Fenrir's start. He does not have a Stout Shield, and he doesn't have an Orb of Venom, so we'll see just how much harass can really pop out.
I've got to say, though, I do like this decision by Aster. They didn't put the DK mid. They knew Moogie was going there on the Monkey King. Rather, they put XXS there on the Enigma. And although Moogie can still be pretty annoying, it's much less likely that he can take advantage of a hero like a DK when you're up against an Enigma.
Yeah, I do like the switch up again from Aster, as you said. XXS should have a better time against Moogie compared to the Dragon Knight. Lover is going to be laning up top against the Venomancer, which is pretty much better, right? He's going to be able to regen through most of that early Gale damage with Dragon's Blood once he levels it up. Although I guess the damage output is pretty insane as it goes on, but the initial 3 levels should be perfectly fine for Lover.
Yeah. The Lover right now copying a lot of damage from that Shadow Shaman. Again, he doesn't have any levels in Dragon Blood yet, so this is to be expected. Bot lane, it does look like Faith is putting on a lot of pressure on Fenrir. I mean, it goes back to the fact that he doesn't have a Stout Shield available, so he can't really trade right clicks easily like that. So far, Sylar, although he's keeping up in CS, his HB says something different.
Yeah, it's not the worst start for a Razor. It's also not, it's not something that really lets you go like, wow. I feel like the lane build-up now for this sort of lane, you might actually prioritize Plasma Field just to really clear out those treants better as well. That's free gold for you if you can do that.
Ooh, nice deny by Lover top lane. Weiji was trying to find the final right click on Baboka, but the Poison Sting was on there, and well, that makes it so you can deny your teammates, and Lover does just that.
Yeah, it's rather unfortunate, but again, these early levels, I suppose, it's much easier to do that. You can safely reach back. Lover does have pretty good base damage, and you can just safely deny. And that's actually really good for Baboka. He gets to go back, he can bring some regen, pick up some items, and go to a different lane. It's actually probably the best situation you can ask for.
YG will end up denying himself the neutral creeps, although again that 25-second respawn time, not very nice, but it does appear he doesn't mind about that too much. He does have a TP available anyway, so he can always just get himself back into the lane pretty easily.
Yeah, again, that is down to the prioritization. I mean, compare that to what happened to the Baboka, right? The deny was much faster in respawn. You can't quite deny your allies without a DOT, and sadly enough, Aster does not have DOTs up, so no denies, and that neutral camp. I mean, that respawn is just so bad.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I keep looking down at this bot lane, John, and this Razor getting abused quite hard. This laning stage with Fenrir on that Spirit Breaker really has not worked out as well as you would hope. Like, yeah, his last hits are okay, but at this point now, like, this Sankey just walks in, Burrow strikes, and Faith goes in for a few right clicks, and there's just nothing they can do about it.
It's down to the laning presence of the Spirit Breaker. Again, he does not have a stout shield, so he can't tank up.
Ooh. Another deny comes out from... I can't believe that. You have three heroes hitting him with treants, and he still manages to get the deny and then walks out of there safely. I cannot believe he managed it.
So much value in that. So much value. I mean, look, Baboka, because it's a deny, he respawns fast. He can come back in the lane with some regen, and he can help Lover out again quite well.
Yeah. I love it. It just looks to be fine. He's got the level 2 Dragon Blood, John. It's 7 HP regen he gets just from that. He's already regening 12.3 a second. I don't even think he needs any regen. He's got double bracer now as well. Love it. Moving forward, he wants that banner in. Faith's got to be careful. Look at the breathe fire. Shackle is there though. Baboka is the target on that Rubik though. The lift goes out. They will get the first blood though. Charge coming in from Fenrir. It looks like it will probably be cancelled off. Mugi spots it out anyway because he does get bashed on the way. And so first blood does finally go the way of Newbee, but my god, we've gone through 3 heroes before we got there.
Yeah, and it was very close thing too. It could have easily gone to Aster's way had they just, slightly hesitated, but they managed to secure that quite cleanly after a lot of it. I mean, all those deny kills on Baboka, I feel like trying to go for Baboka actually cost Newbee much, much more. Because again, Baboka just comes back in, nothing lost. It's a TP back in lane with added regen or an item or two that helps him out, and the Lover is just that much happier in lane, soaking solo XP as well.
YG gets lifted up, bashed by Fenrir. That bash probably actually ruined the gank attempt now, and they're going to turn this one around, Newbee. Fenrir is the target. He went for the charge, but the Shackles was there, and now Lover. They really want this DK, but he's so much tankier. Though, Faith, he does have a medallion available to minus that armor up, and it looks like they should eventually... No, they won't. He'll actually walk out of there safely again. Now, we do see XXS. He does have a black hole, but he could not find good pathing. He's still trying to find it. Now the black hole comes out. 2 heroes there, and that's going to be very nice. Baboka, he'll find a double, and it looks like Poison Sting is there, and they missed time to deny. Yeah, you could see that from a mile away. He was going to miss it.
That is a shame. But that is a beautiful first black hole to start the game off for Aster. 2 heroes immediately. So much value in that one in that first minute black hole, and you gotta feel pretty good if you're Aster. Although you are behind by 2 kills, I think you've pretty much secured a fair bit for yourself already. Although, the Razor's probably not doing as well as the Monkey King over in mid. He has 3 Wraith Bands up, going on hunt now. He is spotted out, but
Well, Baboka's screwed mid lane. Tried to get in there, soak some XP, but immediately Faith comes in with Mugi and they just destroy him. And again, I go back to the point, Sala doing okay, but the whole point of a Razor is to dominate a lane and then snowball off that, and it's just not happening.
yeah, this is not dominance. It's trading evenly, which you don't want. You really don't want as Razor because you power peak quite early. You're supposed to really snowball, but it's very hard when you're laning against the Sand King again with the reworks he got. It's a bit too strong, a bit too tanky, a bit too much damage to really contest in that Sandstorm.
Yeah, certainly so. Funny thing is as well, like you look at that Sand King, he hasn't even got the Vanguard up yet. He hasn't got Vanguard or Braces. He's going to have the gold for it very soon, but it's not the greatest timing in the world. But still, they haven't been able to dish out any kind of harassment towards this man, and well, he hasn't died once either. He's just been free farming the whole time. Now he's got Max Sandstorm as well, so he's going to be able to farm pretty darn fast with that if he wishes to.
Definitely so. And they managed to take out that tier 1, so that's the first tower at 8 minutes and a half. Really good start for Newbee. Managed to really get themselves a very sweet start, and already they are fighting more kills.
Top lane. Lover is just too tanky of a target though. I've got to say, I don't know if Fenrir needed to get in there. He will give his life away for the sake of saving the DK. It almost felt like he could have came in a bit later on and just got away with Lover, but nevertheless, I think he's just probably happy to keep his Dragon Knight alive.
Yeah, definitely so. Better the support Spirit Breaker die than your core Dragon Knight, of course. And they've still not managed to really lock down Lover. He's a bit too tanky, again. Still about to hit the level 6, so at the very least they've slowed down his XP progression.
YG getting charged. He will be cancelled off. Though it does look like the side of Aster want to go for a team fight at this top lane. There will be some wards, plague wards being placed on top of the hill to give that vision. So far, Lover, he's just sitting comfortably in that top lane. Like, he's about to hit level 6 now, so at the very least, he can fight with that dragon form very soon, or alternatively just start pushing. And Newbee, there will be a lift onto Mugi mid lane, but it looks like they want to just get back to farming on the side of the Dire.
Yeah, I think Newbee's very happy with these circumstances. Again, it's on Aster to really push an early advantage for that Razor, and they just haven't done it yet.
Well, Newbee's going to find another kill bot lane. Sala is all alone, and he does get caught out. YG will manage to pick up the last hit onto Sala and claim that gold, but it's just more about keeping the Razor down, really.
Yeah, again, he's a very snowbally hero. He's not snowballing down, like lowest core on the Radiant side, who are all behind Newbee's cores right now. Not a good position as a Razor. You can kind of flash farm with Plasma Field, but it's not the quickest farm. And you would really much rather be farming heroes. Except, right now you haven't. His lane has pretty much been lost. And his presence hasn't really been felt much.
It certainly hasn't. Looks like Lava will get started at that top lane. T1 tower copying a bit of damage. We'll see if Newbee does plan to react to this. They are currently just taking care of the mid T1 themselves, although Baboka and Sala are there to defend. And it does look like they're actually just going to let it go. So they do get a bit of value out of that. The mid lane, there will be a start. The Sand King jumps in with the epicenter. Baboka does end up falling though. Look at the static link. He's stoling a hell of a lot of damage. And now they're going to make the chase. That Plasma Field slow is effective. Faith will probably end up falling here, and he does. Meanwhile, Baboka has got the Burrow Strike, but will not be able to get into range. So a 1-for-1 trade. But Baboka did buy back, and they lost the T1 mid tower.
I think that's definitely worthwhile for Newbee. They get the buyback on the support, and secure that mid-tier 1, which is much, much more important than any sort of kill at this point. So now, Newbee does have a map control advantage just by virtue of taking that mid-tier 1 out. They can gank a bit safer in that area, and they have easier access to Roshan.
Well, Fenrir is going to be ganked up now bot lane. Gets Burrow striked and he's dead.
I have to say, the impact of the Spirit Breaker support has just not been felt. He's so poor right now. Like, no boots even at this point. Trying to finish up a Bracer first. And I'm just kind of shocked that this Spirit Breaker just did not do too much in that early game. I mean, he's 0-3 right now. 0-3, 1 assist. Just 1. You expect a bit more from your support Spirit Breakers, but it has been a rough time overall for Aster.
Yeah, it looks like Newbee are really going to start taking over now as well. Sand goes for the Burrow Strike. There will be Fenrir there to charge in. They do have the Malefice there as well as the Midnight Pulse, but the Wukong's command comes out, and look at that Boundless Strike. He connected on 2, but he will not actually find a kill. And now Lover, he keeps going on to Mugi, who does proc the Jingu Mastery, but doesn't want to go for the team fight, and now he's being charged down. That's a big pickup for the side of Aster if they find it, and they do. Now they find even more. The Nether Strike is there on Faith. Where's the black hole? There it is. Just get it onto SCCC. It's a very nice pickup to get, and it looks like they're going to fully team wipe them. I can't believe it.
I mean, it's a great turnaround for Aster. I was wondering when that black hole would come out, but it comes out right at the last moment to secure that kill. And they do manage to take off a lot from Newbee. From what looked like a 4 or 5k lead a while ago, it's now down to just 2k. Managing to really bounce back. The gold chart is fairly even so far amongst all the cores now. And that does give Aster equal footing now to take these fights. That bounces the Razor back up, although it did come at the cost of their tier 2 bot. So that jungle area is a bit more open for Newbee to roam around in. And they just lose a bit more map control for Aster, but overall, you've got to be happy with that team fight.
I mean, I can't believe they lost the team fight, John. Like, the thing is, it looked like they were being so indecisive. Like, half your team was leaving. Mugi wanted to go in, but he was left alone. There was 3 heroes on hardly any HP, but nobody wanted to join in and take care of it.
It was definitely a bit strange from Newbee. They are going to have to correct that, be a bit more in sync, and find the kills they need, because if they keep feeding these sorts of fights to Aster, they will definitely bounce back.
Well, now SCCC's been caught out. Mid lane, although the dominated creep, where's the micro? There it is. They'll get the stun off, and the charge comes in. SCCC's dead. Faith comes in. I don't know about that one. And now they're going for more. Mugi's in the background, though they found a secondary in YG. Now Midnight Pulse comes in, breaks the tree line. Looks like the Sand King trying to disrupt as best he can. They just lost 2 heroes for absolutely no reason.
Again, very confusing movements from Newbee. They've given away basically most of their lead, and definitely not worthwhile anymore. I'm not sure what's going on here. Just odd, strange movements. Most of Newbee was at bot lane farming together. Suddenly SCCC gets jumped at mid, and the response is a bit slow. It's curious, but Newbee cannot afford to give this much away early on. Again, Aster's lineup excels at this time. When a Razor has a decent amount of farm at this time in the game, he will catch up and he will overtake. Same with the Spirit Breaker Force, and the Dragon Knight as well enjoys that early farm. So you have to watch out. As Newbee, you cannot afford to keep giving away these kills.
Oh, they're going to jump onto Fenrir. He's a lot tankier than he used to be, though. Like, even with just that 1 bracer now, you're looking at 1.5k HP you have to go through with 7 armor. He's got an urn as well that he'll bring out very, very soon. It looks like Newbee are on the chase, though they spotted out Mugi with that charge, apparently. They will not initiate. Looks like Aster are going to stick around between that tier 1 and tier 2 tower, but they are surrounded, and actually they break the tree line. The Shadow Shaman's just dead. What?
That ward giving them a lot of value. It felt like maybe it was best to actually lift up the Shadow Shaman, drop him onto the tree that Monkey King was on, so maybe you break that tree, but not quite the way it went. They might have been able to secure that kill on Mugi as well. Still, nice, very clean pick off. And that does give Aster the gold lead now, just by a bit. But it's there, Mike. It's turned from 5k deficit to less than 1k ahead.
Look at Fenrir. He's charging in by himself. SCCC is in trouble though. Nobody's there to protect him. He might die to the Midnight Pulse, and yeah, he's dead. Wukong's command comes out. Fenrir's going to run out of there though, and now Lover, he breaks down the tree. The Monkey King going to try and turn this one around. He is going to proc that Jingu Mastery, and Lover's all alone right now. The Epicenter comes out as well. They will end up finding the DK. A bit of all chat coming out of Baboka, but he's alive. And they actually found a secondary kill onto Faith. So they get a core and a support Nature's Prophet for the sake of their DK. And now Baboka's tipping him.
Definitely worthwhile. Baboka is on a pretty massive streak.
Fenrir just walked into them and seems like he just goes down. I guess he just wasn't expecting anyone to be there.
Interesting choice, but yeah, I guess it's not too much to give away, I suppose, out of all the heroes you could lose. But yeah, Aster is pretty much on track again to take over this game. Equal footing with Newbee, which is still not ideal, to be quite frank. You want to be ahead at this point as Aster, but they are pretty much set to start taking over now. Sylar working onto his Manta style. It's about to come up. And with that, he should be able to do much more in these team fights, run around a bit faster, do a lot more damage.
Faith. I mean, he was like one hit away from killing Faith on that Nature's Prophet. Looks like bot lane. The tier 2 tower is the target of Newbee. But can they really find it? Like, again, you've got to be worried about the side of Aster. They have the black hole available in this Enigma. The Blink Dagger is also up on XXS. So he's going to be able to be quite mobile in making sure he can connect that. And you've only got a couple ways to cancel it off.
You do have the Blink Dagger and Sand King as well. So the initiation is there for both teams. We'll see who commits first. As there's just a lot of posturing, not much in real trading right now.
Yeah. Faith is currently on top of a cliff, just chilling out. Just waiting to see what happens, I guess. They will find a double damage rune at the top lane. Sylar pick that one up, and they're going to go for the T1 mid tower. With all this indecisiveness coming out, they're just like, alright, we'll just take the T1, I guess. And nobody's actually going to be there to defend.
Strange. I really don't understand what's going on right now, Mike.
They're going for it right now. The Serpent Wards have been dropped, but they immediately go in onto SCCC, and he is dead. Now YG's the target of the Burrow Strike, and the Epi comes out onto 3 heroes, and that really turns it around. Inflame saves his team. Though you've got to be worried that Black Hole is still available, but he can't land it without any DPS to back them up, and it looks like they have found Lover on that DK. Can he survive this one? Wei Ji will come in, the shackles are there, and the Enigma is nowhere to be seen. 4 heroes down for the side of Aster. If it wasn't for Inflame, John, it may have been another full team wipe for Newbee.
Yeah, it was really tight. You know what? I have no clue. That was just strange. That last 2 minutes of indecisiveness really... It's odd. It's odd, really. I feel like Aster just didn't want to commit to initiate first. Newbee didn't want to commit too. And when they finally commit, it's a bit too late. Everyone's really in position and ready. So I guess if you're going to go in, just go in if you're Aster. You know, maybe try to deward your jungle as well.
They found XXS spot lane.
As that happens if you don't deward your jungle.
That is true.
They really need to start clearing out these wards. Take a look at all the wards on the Dar side. If you can switch your vision over, Mike, that is a lot of vision right now from Newbee watching out on these sides. And not much warding coming out from Aster as well. They need to take control back on their side of the map. Baboka is dewarding now, so they'll regain just a little bit. But there's so much more to spot.
Certainly a concern. Lover, mid lane. Burrow Strike is there. YG not going to go in for the shackles. Just a bit of a warning shot coming out of Inflame. And he'll find himself a nice regeneration rune as well. He was pretty low on mana, so that'll make him feel quite a lot better about that as well.
Definitely, so it helps him farm that jungle, and You know, he's looking fairly good in farm. Second top in net worth, right behind Monkey King. Really, you know, he's got pretty much everything he needs. He has his mana boots, the Vanguard's up, the Blink Dagger's up as well. So he should be able to get a lot done. He has been getting a lot done. Should be set to do even more as the game goes on. But right now, I feel like if you're Aster, you've got to be a bit frustrated. They do smoke up, but I'm not sure if that's really achieving anything. They smoke up and de-ward after.
Well, they know exactly where Newbee is now, but you may as well just wait till they're at your tier 2 tower. It looks like Newbee will end up backing off the safety. They're not going to take any risks.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
That smoke basically wasted. You look at the itemization as well on this Monkey King. He's starting to look really big. That Echo Saber Deso. He's pumping out a lot of DPS, and you can see with this Roshan, they are taking it down very, very quickly. Now, mind you, if Aster go for a team fight with that black hole, this could be disastrous, and they are going for it. Roshan's still alive throughout all this, though they are split up. And he is going to go with the Midnight Pulse. That was not the play, though. XXS will get caught out with the Shackles. Now the Hex as well. Roshan's down, and the Aegis is still on the deck because Mugi's stuck. He can't get the Aegis. He will finally get it. And meanwhile, in the backline, two are they even chasing anymore? Sylar is the target. Two down for Aster, though. And they initiated with the Enigma Midnight Pulse with no vision.
I'm not sure about that. They saw them. They saw the smoke break under a ward. They saw that under a ward. It was still up then, and they were pinging it out. They smoke up themselves. They start with Midnight Pulse. I mean, sure, you want that damage before you lay down the black hole, but
No,
you don't have that much of a window. You do not have that window, especially against a team like Newbee.
you can't afford that.
Exactly. Just a bit greedy. Like, really, just wanting to set it down before that black hole. No, they needed to commit that black hole. It's the same story as a while ago, Mike. The indecisiveness of the plays so far from Aster is really costing them now.
Yeah, they're about to lose a tier 2 tower. They're going to come in for a defense. They still have the black hole on the bright side, so Newbee not going to feel too comfortable to go in. Mind you, they did lose that Aegis as well on Mugi. He managed to pick it up, but the problem was he ended up dying to the Serpent Wards. So I guess the game's still basically the way it was 2 minutes ago. Now they are going to jump in. Mid lane, all three grouped up right now. XXS, they are going to find Inflame on that Sand King. That is a nice pickup. Can they find more? Yes, they can. Double Black Hole comes out. And with that, you get both the supports in the backlines, and Newbee overstaying their welcome in that mid lane. It will be very costly for them.
Very costly indeed. It was quite odd to still stay there when Mugi backed off. I'm not sure what you really achieved by hanging around. You know that Aster probably wants to go back in, right? They had a black hole. You were pushing down to tier 2 that you saw most of them come out. Then, really odd decision again from Newbee as well. But at the very least, they don't lose too much. It looks like Newbee will just get a free kill on Fenrir as well. So he does get a little bit more going for himself. Fairly tight game so far, just a 3k lead for Newbee, but I feel like Aster is still there. They're still in the game, Mike. If you're a Newbee right now, you can't afford to give them a way to snowball back into the game.
It's just the silly mistakes that are coming out from either team. Just making them like unable to take any objectives over and over again. Now XXS, he's got a BKB up. You look over to Mugi, he's getting very close to his own BKB. But the effectiveness of the Enigma BKB is quite substantial. Like, you're not going to be able to cancel the black hole in any way, shape, or form now.
Definitely so. You have nothing that pierces magic community so far. In fact, you know, in the entire draft, just never really considered that, which is why I was mentioning they needed something that can really cancel that black hole. But their last pick did end up being this Monkey King, which works fine until the BKBs come out.
Fenrir? He does cancel off the charge. I was a bit concerned, John. He just kept moving in, and now he gets caught out again under a ward. SCCC's there, and he is definitely dead.
And that's why you don't charge randomly, kids.
It looks like he was trying to go for the D ward, but doesn't really work out.
If you know there's a ward there and you charge in, you're just kind of asking for trouble. Again, a slightly odd situation coming out from Aster. I feel like they really have to gel together a bit more and try to find something. They have really good stuff going on right now. They have the BKB's up on XXS. The black hole will be up in 40 seconds. I think, you know, by the time that time rolls around, once Fenrir respawns, smoke up, find a team fight, and force the issue on Newbee. That black hole is really strong with that BKB mic, and I think they can do enough damage already with Sylar just draining away on the Monkey King. It's going to be pretty favorable for Aster if they get the right jump.
Well, Newbee starting to move into the opposing jungle. They want to start taking that farm away from the side of Aster. Gotta say, the Venomancer pick seems questionable at this point. Like, how much is it really getting done? Once the Poison Nova's out, like, sure, it does a lot of work, but I don't know. A lot of this seems to be just on Mugi right now and this Monkey King to really carry them through these team fights. And Inflame, I should say, because those burrow strikes are so damn important.
Yeah, they are hanging a lot on these other heroes. At CCC on this hero, I mean, I don't blame the guy. It's just that Venomancer is, in this specific trap, just feels absolutely underwhelming. I'm not sure what the pick was really for, what they were aiming to do with it. All I know is whatever it was being planned for has not happened yet.
Inflame, tree line right now at the top lane. He's in prime position to go for a counter initiation if necessary. Looks like the side of Aster will be more than happy to just back off for the moment. And now you look at Inflame again. He's got an Aghanim Scepter up. That's a big deal, John.
It definitely is. That added range on a burst strike is going to be massive, of course. And it just makes it that much easier for Inflame to land these massive burrow strikes, massive epicenters. It's going to be really helpful for Newbee if they decide to take a fight.
Yep, there's one. He will go into the DK, although he gets caught out. He was a bit too early. It was a lot of range, and he pays for it straight away.
Odd choice, odd way to reveal that Aghanim Smite. Now I'm fairly certain Aster is quite aware of the existence of that item, and they should be able to adjust their movements accordingly.
Yeah, now Faith gets caught out bot lane as well. Fenrir gets a lucky bash. Can he get one more? Not quite yet, although they have XXS there. With that, Faith is dead.
Pretty much. Again, really odd movements from Newbee. I really don't understand. Just what's going on here.
As Triple C now gets caught out on the Venomancer, though there will be a Hex coming in, but he is dead. Why? Why G?
Well,
Why G's going for the team fight? There's only 2 versus 5 right now. Why G's down? Mugi is going to do it by himself, apparently.
nothing. That was BKBs wasted on Newbee's side as well. That was the 10-second BKB of Newbee. Gone. That was Ward's drop. No reason as well.
Why?
I am just very confused with Newbee's play right now. It's not good, Mike. I cannot, there's nothing to say. It's just not good. Very, very odd timings. Very keen initiation from Inflame a while ago. And, well, they still have a net worth lead. I'm making it sound like it's the end of the world, but it's not. Newbee still maintains a net worth lead. It's just that all these fights are very confusing. They're forcing issues where they really shouldn't yet. And they are still keeping Aster in this game.
Yeah, I mean, Lover's going towards a Heaven's Halberd now, so you're saving Grace, which is Mugi. Like, he's going to be somewhat useless if that Halberd connects, at least for a moment in time, and they're going to take a tier 2 tower top lane without the Elder Dragon form. I feel like if Aster get the next Roshan, and it just came up, if they get that next Roshan, Newbee is suddenly in a lot of trouble.
I agree with you. It's going to be rough for Newbee, sure. Again, they have a marginal net worth lead. They have the Aghanims up and Inflame, but I have not seen it gel together yet for Newbee. I've not seen a team fight where I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. They do win some conflicts, but on a 5v5, their coordination, it just feels lacking.
this is intriguing to say the least. I'm not sure what the game plan is. It looks like Sylar has actually reached the top net worth now on the Razor. Now, considering how bad of a start he was having, that's quite incredible. Like, for a Razor.
It's not the good sign for Newbee. Very well played on him and catching up this well. But Newbee is really, really, I have to say it. They've dropped the ball a bit here, Mike.
Well,
they got a good start. And, yeah.
Dota Plus, win probability, 59% the way of Aster right now. So, not much faith in Newbee. In fact, they did have the lead for quite a while, but no, Aster back in the lead now. I mean, it's still negligible though, but a smoke will come out. Aster, this could be the big play they need. Although they are going for that Roshan, and I don't blame them for this. If they get this, John, they even stole the Serpent Wards on Baboka on that Rubik. This is going to be massive.
Definitely will be. And it looks like Newbee's really not too worried. They are smoked up themselves.
They're going to make it? It looks like they might. Roshan's still ticking down slowly, but how do they initiate it? It's all up to Inflame, it seems. And SCCC, he scouts it out, and here comes Inflame. Burrow Strike, but it's only on one. They've got the DK, the Roshan down, the Aegis. It's on the deck, but here comes the Black Hole. The Aegis is still on the deck, mind you. SCCC dishing out some damage. They do get the Aegis onto Inflame. He probably will end up dropping. In fact, two have already gone down for the side of Newbee, but it's the same story for the side of Aster. They will charge Inflame. They'll get the Aegis back. SCCC about to fall, and he will. 3 for 3 right now. The Inflame keeps going. Where's the help? Baboka's the only one left. Sylar's going for the TP attempt, and it looks like he will make it. And now Baboka steals the Burrow Strike. What?
What? What? What? No.
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 How?
No. How did that miss? He had a range, didn't he? I was mousing over the spell. He had
No, it's the range is fine. Like, he hasn't got the Aghanim Scepter like Sand King does, but the range still makes it that far.
Yeah, the range does. He should have been able to. Maybe it was muscle memory from the old map. I'm starting. I figure it might have been. It might have been. But man, that was just costly. But it's even the kill board, Mike. Newbee has a 3K lead, and suddenly. I know what to say. That was probably Newbee's best team fight. They draw fairly even. It's not like they drew. It's not like they did amazing. That was off the back for Aster, off the back of X success as a black hole, managing to turn that around for the most part. But again, I feel like Newbee has to really readjust how they enter these fights. Just kind of fix up the follow-up. It's a bit of an issue. They go all in on one hero, but the Enigma's still in the background.
Oh, XXS comes in. Black Hole is not available, though. He BKB's up for this. I'm not sure the point of that, but they are going to go for a team fight. I mean, they saved Sylar. I guess that's what he really wanted. He wanted to threaten the chance of a Black Hole coming out, but I guess both of them walk away with all their heroes, so it's not too bad after all.
I think that favors Newbee a bit more, actually. The BKB usage on Enigma is always a bit costly to expend. And I guess you're fine saving Sylar, sure, but that BKB on Enigma, I feel it's a bit more value.
I can't disagree with you on that one. Down to 8 seconds, not too bad. XXS, he's, again, like one of those saving graces in these team fights for Aster. Landing those 2 or 3 man black holes really makes a hell of a lot of difference. Again, we haven't seen, I don't believe we've seen one cancellation yet either of the black hole. So he has been doing his job fairly well. Look to Mugi now as well. He's got a butterfly up on this Monkey King, so suddenly a lot harder to kill, and he's hitting a lot harder for that sake as well. Fenrir, bot lane, just going to chill out for the moment.
He's not going to be jumping, will he?
I sure hope not.
Dire's bottom tower.
T1 is under attack, but Moogie will be there with the Primal Spring to defend, and they actually scan him out. They know he's there.
Oh boy.
Oh, he's going for the TP. Yeah, he's dead.
What was he even doing there?
I guess he's just waiting for a charge moment, I guess, but
why? None of his team was nearby.
That's the question on our lips the whole game, John. Just why?
I mean, good on you, B. That's a free kill. They'll take it. But this game, it's probably the most even game we've seen at 37 minutes in. It's also probably the longest game we've experienced so far. 5k net worth lead for Newbee now. I suppose that's a good sign. It doesn't feel like it. I have to tell you, this net worth lead, I don't feel it. But at the same time, I don't feel like Aster's really maximizing Silo right now. It just feels even. Like, it depends entirely on who makes more mistakes now.
Newbee setting up for the mid push. Aster going to be ready for it. All heroes are up and all ultimates are up as well. Roshan, still a while to go. Still 3 minutes to even find out when it comes up. Though top lane was being pushed in by Enigma's Eidolons, and so it looks like Newbee will be more than happy to just go and defend the top lane first before they try again for that mid tower.
It's fair enough. One thing I want to point out is that Inflame does have his Aeon disc now, Mike, so he will be able to initiate much safer. It's going to be a bit harder to burst him down as well, and that should make a fair difference enough in the team fights. Checking item progression as well. SCCC working on that Aghanims, about 800 gold away till it's done. You can also see Moogie working towards on Scotty. It's going to be a while for that one. About 1/4 of the way, 1/3 of the way for him. Over on the Radiant side, going over on Lover, working towards that AC. He does have the Hyper Stone up, so halfway there, almost, roundabout. And checking on Sylar's Razor right now. He is really fun. He has 4.5k in the bank. I believe he is just holding out for the buyback and figuring out what to pick up next, but otherwise he's pretty much set as well. So both teams do have tools. A big one, actually, is XXS. He has his Refresher Orb on Enigma. That could be the clincher here for Aster. This could really seal them up, grab them some really good team fights, seal the game up for them if they manage to really maximize that double black hole.
Well, both teams really hesitating right now, though. I mean, on Aster's side, you can kind of see why. Obviously, they have those big items coming up. It looks like the DK probably just going to keep going for that Assault Cuirass before they try to make anything happen. And the thing is, this was Aster's game to lose. I still feel like it is Aster's game to lose.
Yeah.
It's just...
I don't disagree. I mean, they are 6k behind, but... the fact that they're only 6k behind at 40 minutes in... well, 7k behind 40 minutes in, it's not the best sign up against Newbee. They are down to just one outer tower, but I feel like that potential to just snowball out from one good team fight is really there for Aster. They push towers a bit faster. They don't depend on just that Shadow Shaman and his wards to really melt the towers down.
Butterfly now up as well on Razor, and they get the Assault Cuirass up on the DK. A lot of items, John, that haven't been spotted out by Newbee. Somehow this next team fight, I mean, if the thing is, if Aster lose this team fight, they haven't got buybacks in their cores. That could just mean a Rax. It could mean the game's over for all I know. We're about to find out because there is a smoke on smoke going on. The SCCC, his smoke's broken. Now in flame as well. If they can find XXS first, it'd be amazing for the side of Newbee. It looks like they will actually go onto the tankiest target, which is Lover. He's going to make his walk out. Now, Midnight Pulse is there to break down the tree line. Fenrir playing around with them in the back lines, but again, nobody really wanting to initiate too hard quite yet. They're just dancing around with each other. Lover just slowly healing up that HP he lost. And it looks like both of them... It's this weird stalemate in the mid lane where neither one knows how to initiate this team fight.
Very strange indeed. No one really committing, and both sides are kind of scared, which is fair enough because they just bought some big items, I guess. And the buybacks are a bit far out for a few of the heroes on each side, so they do opt to play conservatively instead. But how long will this piece last? Like,
Well,
at some point, someone's gonna fall.
Roshan's up in 40 seconds. I think that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back in this peace treaty that they have. It's not going to work out the same way. Because again, that Roshan, you're going to get that refresher shard as well. If you give that to Aster, there's 3 black holes that you're going to have to go up against. Now, oh, XXS, he's going in. Although he didn't go for the black hole and they got the shackle and the hex off. He's dead. Now the Wukong's command is there. Mugi moves in. Boundless Strike will connect on 2 as well. And Newbee looking pretty good this team fight. Lover is okay, but look at that Burrow Strike. He connects on 2 though. In Flame now. Aeon Disc is proc. Mugi falling quite low himself. He wants to back off, but they got the Razor. No buyback available on him. Fenrir goes for the charge attempt, but the Shackles gets in there by Wei Ji. They found another. Newbee get 3 for nothing.
I mean, Aster, XXS, he jumped in and he wasn't BKB'd.
You can see what he wanted, John.
BKB'd.
There was 3 heroes clumped up on the river. He wanted to go for the black hole.
But he wasn't BKB'd.
Well, he wasn't BKB'd and he didn't go for the black hole. He went for the Malefice.
Hex, no, yeah. That and Hex is near instantaneous too. So, you have to watch out. I mean, you have to go in BKB'd because of that Hex. There's... I mean, it's just strange. Once again, a very strange mistake to make coming out from Aster. I'm really not sure what's going on anymore. Maybe both teams are just kind of tired at this point. I wouldn't blame them. But Newbee does manage to come out on top of that. At very least for Aster, they still have their double black hole waiting.
I guess. They do lose an Aegis Cheese and a Refresher Shard, though.
Yeah, but on the bright side, you didn't expend your big teamfight ultimate. You didn't expend your ace in the hole with that Refresher Orb. Your high ground defense should be okay.
The irony with that statement, though, John, is had he done that, he probably would have won the team fight for them.
Yeah, of course. But the bright side is that they didn't lose that while expending it. You know, they didn't lose it while expending. Mike, I'm trying to say positive here. You know, yeah, Aster's still in.
You are the bright side, aren't you?
Oh, definitely so, Mike.
Nevertheless, Newbee are starting to push slightly more forward. That tier 2 mid is the only outer tower standing for Aster right now. Newbee desperately want this damn tower. They've been trying to get it for the past 20 minutes.
It's a slow push, Mike. They're not dedicating heroes to do it. They just want to drop the wards, have the treants scout around the jungle before dedicating any sort of push there. In fact, they're happy farming once again. Mike, this is starting to feel weird. I'll be honest with you, 45 minutes in, this is the longest game we've experienced in DPL. By a long shot. It's weird. I have to say this is weird. This feels like the last patch, Mike.
It does. It really, really does. And everyone's just going to work towards the 9-slotted mark. I'll tell you what, John, at this point I've seen grass grow faster than this. So... They're just, I understand, like, there's a lot of pressure here, so we can't laugh about it, like, but...
I don't know, it's the back and forth in posturing without really committing, right? They line up for the Mexican standoff in mid, and no one jumps in. It's a bit too reminiscent of pubs, I'll be frank. You know, there is a lot of meaning in these movements. It's just
odd. They found XXS. Oh, that's a big kill.
That's a dieback.
Yeah, he doesn't have buyback available. He dies back. He's gone for almost 2 minutes, and Baboka could not save him. Oh my, that's the opening Newbee needed. They were waiting for that the whole time. They found it. This could be over.
Bought back really okay.
Yeah, they got the epicenter as well. Baboka goes into the ghost form. He is dead though, and now SCCC comes in. Sylar, he's losing a lot of HP quite fast. The Gale connects as well, and now the Burrow Strike is there. And they call GG. That's all it took.
Just one mistake, and I guess when you're in a very tense situation like this, one mistake is all that you need to win. When it's this, well, I say tight, but it's a 22k net worth lead for Newbee at this point. But again, I feel like Aster really had the opportunity early game. They managed to secure really good farm for Siler going to that mid game, despite really just shafting that lane.
Well, the
And
real
it's
shame
just that it's that indecisiveness. We never saw the double black hole knight.
No, we didn't. He literally never got to use the refresher orb. In fact, he didn't black hole once after the refresher orb came up. It's a real shame. Again, it is a lot of pressure. I agree with your sentiment. Like, you are in a high pressure game. Your tournament lives could depend on it. You know, you want to just try and win this out against Newbee, which is a difficult team to try and win against. And I suppose the pressure got to them, made a few mistakes, died where there was no vision. And, well, Newbee, they really take advantage of that and just finish the game out of nowhere. On that note, John, there is one more game to go for the night. Of course, it will be between both these teams again in this best of 2 series. We'll see if Aster can draw it out or whether Newbee can just take this 2-0. It is MLPDota and johnxfire, and we'll be right back with you in just a moment to see how this series pans out. Won't be long.